Okay, let's turn the sounds off to this because I can't deal. Okay, so I wanted to share a little bit of my story of becoming, well, not becoming, but my story of being a Muslim growing up, as well as basically the things that I did to prepare myself for this month to make sure that it is successful and that I make it through the full 30 days. So if you guys are interested in my story, my tips that I have to offer, and yeah, I think that's it. Then stay tuned. Alright, so for me, if you follow me on Instagram, you know that I am not the most modest Muslim, and honestly, if it wasn't for this video, or if it wasn't for me posting on my story, if you watch my stories on Instagram, if you don't follow me on Instagram, make sure to do so at queenfanta.c. I'll put the my username right down here at the bottom of this video. But yeah, if you don't follow me on if you follow me on Instagram, you probably would not know that I'm Muslim. If you hear about Muslim women, you'll most likely think of somebody who wraps their hair up, covers up most of the time. And for me personally, it is something that I am definitely working towards. However, even though a lot of people may disagree, and I completely respect your opinion on that, I do not believe that it takes away from me being a Muslim. I don't feel like it takes away from my relationship with Allah. I know that eventually I will get to that point where I can commit fully to being a hijabi, wearing hijabs all the time and wrapping my hair, covering my body more. I have actually tried to, well, not tried to, but lately I have been showing less when it comes to like bodily parts. When it's like showing my breasts, I don't really wear clothes that show my breasts like that anymore. The most, if you look at my recent like outfits that I've been wearing when I go out, it's not really revealing. It has, you know, some type of sex appeal, but it isn't truly revealing. But at the end of the day, it still does not go against, it does not go with the guidelines of being a Muslim woman. And for me, I feel like what aided in me being this way, or I don't even know if that's the correct word. I have been being butchered for using words that are not the correct term of what I'm trying to say. But when I was younger, I grew up with my father. And my father, he was married to Christian women. So my father is Muslim, growing up with Christian women, and I spent most of my time with them because my father always worked. There were times when I was in church. There was times when you know, I celebrated Christmas, I celebrated Easter, I celebrated all of these things that were Christian religion celebrations and Christian ways. When I grew up and I realized like, oh, like when I actually had the knowledge to be like, oh, my father is Muslim and Muslims do things different than Christians, and understanding the difference between different religions, it kind of had me in a mixed or confused kind of situation, like not really understanding what is the reason for religions and why are so many people have so many different religions to follow one God. I don't believe that there are multiple gods that people are praying to. I believe, and I still believe, that there's not multiple gods that people are praying to. There's only one God. Their prophets and messengers are different, and that is the main difference that I realized. And for me, I knew that, okay, I was born a Muslim. I didn't really practice it when I was growing up. It wasn't until I moved in with my mother when I was about 17, 18 that being a Muslim was like kind of forced on me, like, girl, you gotta pray. And I'm just like, but I never used to. So it's like hard to come from 18 years of not doing something to then all of a sudden doing it. And the one thing that was important for me was that I wanted to do it for me and God. I wanted to do it because it felt right for me. I wanted to do it because I felt like because if I did it for my mother, or I did it for my family, and I told my mother this, I'm just like, you know, if I do it for you just to make you happy, I'm doing a disservice to God, because I am not doing it for him. There's no connection that's going to be built. I'm sorry, I'm sick. But how you live your life is very important and goes hand in hand in how you deal with your religion in my personal opinion. It may be different for others, but I feel like, me personally, I don't do anything if I don't have good intentions, and I don't do anything unless I'm really ready to fully commit to it. So when it came to praying, I went through a phase where I didn't even know what religion I wanted to be, and I couldn't understand why we had to speak Arabic when we had to pray. Why couldn't I just speak English? I'm like, God made all 7 million people. Why do we have to speak one language in order to speak to him? And it took a lot of discovering, a lot of soul searching, a lot of praying to finally come to a point where I was just like, this is what I want to do. And I had to try it. And honestly, the time that I did actually really try, to be completely honest with you guys, was last year, Ramadan. I really committed myself to it, and I said, I'm going to learn more about my religion. I am going to fast, because I do believe that in fasting, in any religion, brings you clarity. It brings you you become closer to God. You know, you get rid of bad habits. You realize what is important in life. And I have beautiful friends who wrap their hair all the time, and they inspire me. One of my friends, Raya, she wraps her hair all the time, and I always tell her, I'm like, girl, you inspire me so much. And I swear at 25 I'm gonna be like, yes, Raya, look at me. And I don't know for sure if like at 25 it's gonna be like the deadline for me where I'm like, duh, I'm not wearing weaves, I'm not, showing my hair or anything. I'm more so following my spirit, the same way I did with prayer. I feel like I lost my train of thought. That's why I like to write things down and then like say it. But yeah, so I'm just following my spirit when it comes to wrapping my hair up, and also for covering myself more. I still want to be true to myself, which I also I'll be doing a lookbook, like a Ramadan lookbook, where you can take outfits that you have in your closet. You don't really have to change anything about your sense of style, but just making it more modest and appropriate for our Muslim religion. So growing up, I didn't practice being a Muslim. I'm 23 right now. It took 22 years for me to realize that this is exactly who I want to be, and this is the religion that I want to stick to. So this Ramadan, the one thing that I wanted to, because last Ramadan I did, like I said, it was a shift in my life, but it was the hardest Ramadan I ever had to do, because I think I committed to about 20 days, anywhere between 15 to 20 days. I can't really remember. It wasn't the full 30 days though, and it was because I went through like the worst experiences. Like the first 2 weeks, my body did not know how to function without having food in my system. If I don't eat, I literally feel like I'm dying, and I'm not even trying to be dramatic. Like, it was a time where my aunt came into my room and thought that I was like sick. It was just like, I don't know how I can deal with this, and I don't know how people do this, but I just don't think that I can do this. My head was killing me. I had really bad migraines to the point where, like, when I put the first meal in my mouth, I threw it up because I couldn't hold it. My body was shaking. I couldn't concentrate. I felt lightheaded, but it was like the hardest year for me to do Ramadan. So this year, the one thing that I wanted to do was make sure that I prepped myself for it, because I wanted to commit to all 30 days. So what I did was, for the last week of April going into May, what I did was every day I ate later and later. So I was kind of like fasting, half of the day, and then I'll just like eat later on in the day. Sometimes I wake up at 11, a little bit later, and I won't eat until like 6, 4 o'clock. Like 4 or 5 o'clock was like the standard time that I did for the first couple of days. And then the last couple of days I actually did fast, because we as women, we have to make up for the days that we have our menstrual period. A lot of people do it after. I chose to do it before. I hope that God still accepts my fast, even though it was before. So I did 3 days where I did fully fast up until sundown. And honestly, the first 2 days was kind of hard, but right now I am so good. It's day 1 of fasting for me, and I feel so good. Like, I don't feel the way I felt last year. Last year around this time, I was like no energy. I felt like Okay, you know when you know in what show is that? Oh my god, Family Guy, with the old guy with the dog, and you know the dog like drags their legs and has like no strength. That's how I was like last year. I had like no strength, no nothing in my body to do anything. Okay, but this year I just feel so motivated to get through it. I was so excited for Ramadan, and I just feel like this is going to be a really good year for me because I'm fully committed, you know? I'm committed in my mind. And I feel like that's just what was like missing for me all those years when I didn't really know what I wanted to do, was like I wasn't ready. And as sad as it is to say, I know that people are going to have opinions about it, but I wasn't ready, and I did not want to be forced in doing something, because if I was forced to do it, I would have probably hated it. And I didn't want to hate something that I never gave a chance to. So I wanted to do it for myself. I didn't want to do it for anybody else. I wanted to, I'm like, if I'm going to be a Muslim, if I'm going to choose to be this, I know that I was born into it, but I want to choose to be it. Because then when you choose, there's a greater dedication to it that nobody else can give you. You know, another thing is that you know that you cannot listen to music, you cannot you know, partake in partying and all this other stuff. One thing that I love doing and that I have been doing is studying surahs. I don't know if I'm saying it right. I kind of say it with like an African accent, so sorry if it's wrong for you guys who speak Arabic or who say it properly. I say it differently, but you know what I mean, okay? I study them, and I try to study one a week, so that way by the end of the month I've learned 3 new ones. And then also the ones that I do know, I study the English meaning, so I know exactly what I'm saying in Arabic, so that everything that I pray is with good intention and is with intention. Like I know that I'm saying this, you know, and I'm not just reciting words that was given to me and that I studied. And I also wanted to share 3 apps with you guys, and I had some from like earlier on, from like when I first started practicing being a Muslim and praying and learning everything, because I wasn't fortunate enough to go to Arabic school like, you know, the rest of my friends and family, so I kind of had to do it on my own, and you know, basically ask my mom and everything. So I'm gonna try to do like this screen recording thing and see if like I can add this into the video. Hopefully it works. I don't know if it's going to or not, but let's hope it works. So the first one is Hisnul Muslim. Let me X this part out. So when you first open it, you have this part here, and basically it is just a book of, well, basically it's an app that shows you different prayers that you can say for different things. Like you have home and family. It has the prayer for when you're wearing a garment, before you enter a bathroom, before undressing, things that you're supposed to say when you're entering the room. You know, they have different ones here. They also have ones for like prayer before starting your prayer wash. You have that upon entering the mosque, when you're leaving the mosque. They have ones for, you know, food. Oh my gosh. They have ones for food and drink, which is going to consist of like before you eat, after you eat, you know, thanking a guest, all of these other things for sickness and death, joy, distress. And then it has like dua of the day, which will basically tell you what dua it is. It has it in Arabic, English, and then a Arabic translation so that you know how to say it. So yes, and then you have, my next one is, the next one is Muslim Pro. I love Muslim Pro. I'm pretty sure if your mom, your aunt, your uncle, everybody got this app. Everybody knows about Muslim Pro. So I love it because you also have the Quran here with all the surahs that you're supposed to say when you're praying. But yeah, you can pick, when you click audio, you can click the speed of which one you like, and if you buy the full app, you can also pick who you want to say it. So it has it in Arabic, the Arabic translation, and then in English of what you're saying. And it also has the prayer times here. You can choose how you want your alarms to notify you, whether you want someone to sing or you just want a little like ding, call it a day. And then In the home screen, you have the direction of like where you're supposed to face when you're praying, the full Quran, daily inspiration, your personal tracker, which you can track how many days you fasted, how many days you didn't fast, how many days you have to make up from the mist, and how many days you have left. Also the same for praying as well. So the next one and the last one, which is actually my favorite, is called Salah. I love this app. I feel like it is very good for beginners who are just now starting out on being a Muslim and praying and want to know what is the right way, make sure they're doing things the right way. It's also a good study and refresher. I love this one because it has the different prayers. It also has how you're supposed to pray. It'll tell you all the different steps that there is, what you're supposed to say at each point when you're praying. So also has audio as well, so you can hear the audio. And it just has the steps, how many times you're supposed to pray, how many times you're supposed to stand, and all of that. And it has it with illustrations. I enjoy that a lot. So, and then I think here it also has the Quran as well, but that also goes into another app. They're all connected, I guess, into the Quran Pro. And then you have the Islamic Alarm, which also goes into another app. And I just use the Muslim Pro's alarm because it's all in one, and I don't want to have so many apps notifying me of the same thing. But yeah, I hope I didn't ramble too much. I find myself always rambling, and I keep telling myself that I'm going to write down the points that I'm going to talk about so that I don't end up going all over the place. I feel like I'm missing something, but at the same time I don't want to ramble and I don't want this video to be too long. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Stay tuned for my weekly vlogs. I don't know what to call it, but I'm just gonna I feel like I just want to do like fasting with Fanta. It's just gonna be the segment, like fasting with Fanta. And it's gonna be weekly vlogs of how I've been doing, and let's see if this chipperness continues on. So yeah, that's all that there is. I think that's all the tips that I have to give, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys have similar stories, or you have stories that you want to share of growing up being a Muslim and your trials and tribulations that you went through on your journey, then please let us know down below. Share your story. I would love to read it. I'm always in my comments. I love reading you guys' comments. Yeah, you guys, Ramadan Mubarak. If you guys are Muslim, my Muslim followers, I pray that Allah accepts our fast and our prayers and guides us and gives us strength throughout this holy month and accepts all of our du'as. And yeah, God bless.